Hello, John.
Adam.
The Mount Melleray pilgrim paths is what we're going to talk about today. So, Mount Melleray pilgrim paths, known as a rich history and stretch over 30 kilometers in the lower hills of Knockmealdown Mountains. The stunning region has been the cherished home of the Cistercian monks since the early 1832, having journeyed all the way from Melleray in Brittany, France. The trails have provided convenient paths for the monks and the locals from Melleray and others to explore the mountainous areas, gather turf, tend to sheep, embark on long distance pilgrims. So, pilgrim paths, what do you think?
Really good because it's a great article about it in the Live magazine, the January issue, and there's the back page, all the people, all the photographs about it, and Lord Burlington, the son of the Duke of Devonshire, who's a very wealthy man, owned a lot of parts of London, which is you know great wealth there, and he has a castle in Lismore Castle, and it dominates the town because myself and my late wife Judy, we often stayed in Lismore and explored the surrounding country because we're very fond of Waterford and that general area. And in that castle, the Lismore Castle, which dominates the town, it's a huge affair. And Fred Astaire, the film actor and dancer, he used to dance with Ginger Rogers in a kind of pretty good. He stayed in it one time, I think, when we were down that neck of the woods. And but various other ones, and big crowd then was in the Mount Melleray when at the launch, and Bishop Cullinan is the Bishop of Lismore and Waterford, and he presided as well. And Abbot of Mount Melleray, Father Dinian, was there. And then there was a lot of people, and there's a plaque then where it starts. So, and then there was a lady, somebody there from St. Nicholas Way. That must be another pilgrim. So, we there was a great program about the pilgrim path. For example, St. Patrick's pilgrim path from Ballintubber Abbey to Croagh Patrick, where St. Patrick was supposed to have walked from that area, and there was a half an hour program on EWTN, the Eternal Word Truth Network, which I saw. And as he walked along, there was where mass is celebrated, there was mass graves where children during the famine were buried, and then where adults in mass graves, and mass is said on these mass rocks, which is what the way people had to celebrate mass them times. So pilgrim paths in this country go back a very long way, and in some ways there's more antiquity attached to them than the one in Spain, which seems to get a lot of visitors from all over the world to St. James's Way, and it's often 500 kilometers. And a big difference between Ireland and Spain is that the food in Spain, we were in Spain for some years, myself and late wife, and the food in Spain is not to our liking. It's different, and we kind of never really took to it. So we were able to have meals elsewhere when we want to have a meal out. So the food would be different there, whereas the food here is more conducive to the mm, for people from the United States and Britain and even other countries, because our food here is second to none. It's very nourishing, and we have a great record in the hospitality sector, with good food and accommodation. So this is very important, and the language is spoken here is English, so people are able to communicate. When you go to Spain, you won't have it won't be too easy to talk to Spanish people because they don't seem to have any English whatsoever. Even if they have, they don't use it. So you're incommunicado, whereas here it's different, and that's a very important point.
It is indeed. I think, like, pilgrim paths are a great idea for many reasons. One, that people get out and fresh air. You're with like-minded people. When you're around people like that, they all have a nice sense of hope inside them. And
That's right.
I think from an exercise point of view as well, you can't do anything better than walking, really. It's harmless. It's very good for you.
Right.
So
And the history that's attached to our pilgrim paths here. And don't forget, as you go along, you're coming across holy wells as well, but there was often people cured. So there's a lot of benefits here that the Christian TV Ireland will be highlighting and making much more widely known. We'll be certainly involved in supporting religious pilgrims to this country far more than there is, and we'd make sure that there's guides that can inform them. There's no point in going to places and there isn't a sign of somebody to explain anything about it.
there's
So guides will be encouraged to be in those local places. And I'm sure that can happen because there are people that know the history and all the rest of it, and it's very interesting.
it is
So
indeed.
that's something we'll be doing and suggesting.
I think I
So
think
these are all the things that.
I
Go
think that
ahead.
I think that like you were the first person really that highlighted to me, and it was almost 9 years ago, the importance of pilgrim paths and these historical places and the mass rocks and that. And it's nice to see after all these years of doing so many videos with you that finally people are taking notice. The Irish Independent, RTE, they're all taking notice now of how the value of these pilgrim paths and the history and the culture and the
Correct.
religion.
Yeah.
It's
Correct. Yeah,
nice.
you're quite right. So they do notice when we do what we do, and which is good if people sort of go along the same lines that we're trying to promote. Because pilgrim path, from the exercise and from the spiritual end of it, you're on a journey with like-minded people. And don't forget, we've had visitors here from the United States, including Cardinal Timothy Dolan, the Cardinal in New York, and his headquarters is guess where? St. Patrick's Cathedral at Margaret's Cathedral in New York, which I visited and had the pleasure of visiting and doing the Stations of the Cross as well. It's a lovely church built by the Irish immigrants years ago. So that's why it's called St. Patrick's. So we have then we had him coming to knock a couple of times with full plane loads, and so we're getting visitors to knock, which is where the apparition occurred, that famous miracle where people saw the Blessed Virgin and the Lamb of God and all the rest of it on the side of the altar, and it would become official. It's the shrine Pope John Paul II visited and laid a foundation stone for the basilica. The trouble with the basilica, in my opinion, is it's not in the horizontal way, the way churches is like in the shape of a cross with a centre aisle and then two side things, and it's in the shape of a cross and facing east. It's kind of round. So you've no focal point in the full sense of the word, if you get me drift. I prefer a traditional church with stained glass windows and shaped in the form of a cross and facing east. That's the way
And John
Catholic
Malone,
Church is facing the
I would
sun.
be inclined to agree with you. You know,
Correct.
uh,
Because it's more there's more reverence attached to it. If I visit a church where it's all sort of circular, I don't know where I am
you know,
because
there's,
there's
there's,
no
there's
focal point.
there's a lot to be said for Romanesque and Gothic churches. I mean, there's nothing more
Correct.
beautiful than a church. And when you look at the stained glass, when you look at the marble, when you look at the floors, it's just absolute beauty. It's just
Oh,
divinity.
yeah, the one here in Oldcastle, Saint it's Saint Bridget, who we got a holiday there, um, on Monday there, and whatever day it was. Don't know whether it was just last Monday, but we got a holiday courtesy of the government. If the bishops were looking for us, they have deaf ears, but they come up with it themselves for some reason. Suffice to say that it's good that it's celebrated. And funny enough, on EWTN, they mentioned it in their news in a very good, positive way. And there was a big event in the Irish College in the Pontifical Irish College in Rome, which was established over 400 years ago.
Well,
A lot of people don't know that. And there was a celebration there, and there were singers, lovely Irish singers, a kind of soprano singing, and it was beautiful. And Colin Flynn is a presenter, or he's based in the Rome studio for EWTN, and he's very good. He's Irish, and he's one of the best. He was in New York, and whatever he does, it lifts the spirit. He's better than anything, and he's and he gave details about it. And it was great to see that it was reported in EWTN, the St. Bridget's, and this holiday.
Wow.
So it's got international recognition already.
Excellent stuff. Thank
You
you very
see where I'm
much.
coming from?
I
This is
do.
the culture that we have. St. Bridget goes back to the 500 and something, not long after St. Patrick had established the Catholic faith. So you see how it took root.
Very good. And
We've
it's
a
the
long
same
history.
St. Bridget's Day is the 1st of February, isn't that correct? For anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah, well, it's the 1st of February is actually St. Bridget's Day, but the holiday was, I think, on the 4th or the 5th or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was the last Monday, I think.
That's it.
And holiday, yes, it was last Monday because I went to have a bite to eat in the hotel, the Headford in Kells. And there was a fierce crowd. It was there at 12:30. I thought I'd be first. And we got, there was one in front of me, but I got what I wanted, and the rest of it. So when I was home at about 20 past 1, so I wasn't delayed really, and it took me time. I had a dinner and a dessert. As a matter of fact, I had a child's dinner because the big dinner is too much, and the child's dinner could have what I wanted. I had lasagna and some vegetables and all the rest. It's
Very good.
enough that I wanted. I didn't want to eat the stuff.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Oliver.
There you go.